Hi everybody, it's Lori Bradley. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Louis, Missouri, and it is day 28. Can you believe it? We've been doing this for 4 weeks. Day 28 of 31 projects in 31 days. And I was kind of saving this one. You'll notice I'm facing a different direction. I had to go to my more sturdy table because I'm going to mask today. I'm going to use the Snowy Delights masks, and I wanted to make sure that my table didn't shake and my camera wasn't all crazy. I look crazy enough. Today was one of those days where I didn't have to go anywhere, and I was like, you know what? The hair and makeup doesn't have to happen, so bear with me. So we're going to use the Snowy mask, or the Snowy Delight masks, and the dies, just one of the dies, and we're going to make a fun winter card. It's starting to cool off here in St. Louis, so it's time for some cooler weather cards, right? So let's get going. Let me turn you around. Hi, Sheila. Okay, so we are going to mask, and I chose today, let me get my video set up on my laptop here so I can see the comments. I chose to use some lighter, more pastel colors for the snowflakes. So I'm using Pool Party, Highland Heather, and Coastal Cabana today. So there we go. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you the masks first. There are 4, and you can use these masks. You can, let me get the last one out. I'm only going to use 3 of them. Look at that, my sweatshirt matches my card. Isn't that crazy? That wasn't even planned. But the masks have a number. So each mask has a little number right here. I hope you can see that. That's a number 3. I'm not actually using this one, but I wanted to show you these. When you do it, it starts with number 1, and it has a little notch right here. When you line it up on your paper, however you do it, you do the number 1, and then number 2 comes in, and you put the notch in exactly the same spot. And everything layers right on top of each other. So this is I'm gonna call this the generic sort of one. Let me get my paper here so you can see a little better. That's the generic one that has the bigger, broader flakes of the snow. And then the number 2 has a little bit more in depth. And then number 3 has a little bit more detail. And if you use all of them, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm just choosing to use 1, 2, and 4 today. So I'm not going to use all 4 of them. We had a demonstrator meeting at my house a few weeks ago, and my friend Susan showed us some great layering in pinks. There was pinks all the way up to cherry cobbler, and it was super fun to do that. So here we go. I'm going to start with a regular 8.5 by 5.5 Highland Heather card base. So I'm going to fold that in half. And then I have 2 pieces of white. I have one for the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have one that is, oh man, I already forgot. I think it's 3 3¾ by 5. And then this one is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I just wanted a little bit of that cool Coastal Cabana around the outside edge. Okay, now I'm going to get my white piece. Now the easiest way that I found to do this is I lined up my paper on my grid paper. You could do this, you could use some masking tape, you could use some painter's tape, you could use a Post-it note to hold it in place, but I'm going to mark where my edge of my paper is, just so I remember if it moves, if it happens to move, then I know where it is. And I'm going to put my first mask. So we're going to start with number 1. Like I said, the kind of generic one. The number 1 is right here, but I want my snowflake to fit on my paper, so I'm actually going to angle it because the snowflake is longer this way than it is wide. So I'm going to put my angle at a different spot. So I've got my paper here, and I've got my snowflake where I want it. So I'm just, once I've got it there, I'm going to make another pencil mark where the notch is out of my mask. So if I miss that, and I turn it around or whatever, then it's still in the right place. Okay. And that's just how I find it to be the easiest. You might have a different method, but that's what I do. All right, so I'm gonna start with the pool party. I'm gonna rub that on my ink pad. Now, if I was doing this on my other table, you'd be like, whoa, it's all shaky, but no, we're good, we're good. We've got it where we want it. And then once you hold this down, it's gonna hold your paper also if you hold it here. So we're just gonna go across. And you can do this as light or as dark as you want. You're gonna be layering, so it doesn't necessarily matter where or how dark those are. Okay, so it helps to do that with two hands. We're gonna just keep masking that. You can do it as dark, this side's a little lighter, so we'll come back over here and make sure it's all even. Although even if it wasn't, I think it would be very pretty. If you have been around for a lot of years with Stampin' Up, the masks that we used to have were not this good. These are thick and they don't bend like the old ones. You know, the old ones were really, really flimsy. These are a stronger plastic, so it's definitely a better quality than it used to be. All right, so I'm gonna remove that. So there's our first layer of our snowflake. It's just, like I said, that generic level, which, you know what, I didn't show you the stamp set. The Snowy Delights stamp set has one big snowflake, and then there are beautiful snowflake dies. Sorry, I should have shown that to you first. Beautiful die cuts that you can layer. After we mask this, you could cut it out if you wanted to. I'm not going to. We're just gonna make our card the snowflake flat for tonight. Okay, now we've got that piece. Now I'm gonna put my paper right back where I had it. And we'll go with number 2. So here's my number 2, and it's going to be Coastal Cabana. I'm gonna tilt it. Got my paper where I want it, and then tilt it. And you can actually see that you're on top of your first one. You might have to adjust it just a little bit. Okay. Then we will get our Coastal Cabana blending brush. You could use the same blending brush for both of those, but just make sure you rub it off on your paper first. I just went ahead and used a different one just to make it easier. So this is gonna add some detail to that, what I call the generic snowflake right at the beginning. I go right across. I did a card a couple of weeks ago where we stamped the snowflake. So this one we're not gonna stamp, we're just gonna stamp words for this guy. All right. All right, I think that's good. So let's undo that one. So now you can see we've got lighter and darker, okay? Then I'm gonna switch it all up and use the Highland Heather. I like the Pool Party and the Highland Heather together for snowflake winter cards. So we're gonna do the same thing with number 3. You see the numbers in the corner. Got my paper where I want it, and then put my notch right there. And you'll be able to see, actually, I used number 4. I didn't do number 3. Let me think about this for a second. Let's do, no, I don't want that purple to layer over, because that would make little tulipy almost shapes on top of that with the purple, and I'm not sure that that would look very good. So we're gonna continue with my number 4. And that also, when you put the number and you see the number and it's upright, when you see it right there, you can feel it too. But that way you don't get ink all over the bottom, which is all over your paper, which, you know, happens to the best of us, right? Okay. So we've got our paper. This is not quite right. Let me look at this for a second. There we go. Angle it just a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right, you can see through, so that way if you happen to get it a little bit off, then that's okay. You can judge what you've got there, and then we're just going to put the purple on. All right, so when I posted my schedule for the week, one of the questions that I asked was about future videos, because in the past I have not done daily, but I was curious whether you as a viewer prefer one project at a time, or if you prefer multiple projects, if we do 2 or 3 or 4 projects. So if you have a preference on that, would you let me know what you think, and then I'm going to try to work on my schedule for the next couple of weeks to see what I can do. So I would appreciate your help for that. All right, now we have our snowflake. We've got it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that down. You'll be happy to know that my adhesive refills arrived today, so if we run out, we're not in as bad a situation as we would have been yesterday. All right, so that's my Coastal Cabana layer. All right, then we can go ahead. We're going to put that onto our card base. I'm going to put that up on dimensionals just to give it a little bit of a little more depth. Okay. And then we can do a little bit more. We're actually going to mask just a little bit more on our inside, just for an exciting little extra. All right, so we could leave it just like that, but I have the die cut, which is this cute little sentiment die cut for the front, and I'm going to stamp Joy to the World. I have Joy to the World here, and it fits right in there. I'm going to stamp that in the Highland Heather. Have to be able to see though. And it fits right on there. Like it's almost a perfect fit. Convenient, huh? Okay, so we've got that. Now, I was trying to figure out if I don't have any purple ribbon. I don't have any Highland Heather ribbon. I don't have any Coastal Cabana ribbon. I don't have any Pool Party ribbon. So I brought out the white, it's the Misty Moonlight and White 1/4 inch starter ribbon pack. So it's a smaller pack of each of those. And I wanted to put it behind. So I cut a little strand, but then I thought, no, it's kind of hides a little bit. And it's a cottony ribbon. So we are going to color our ribbon. I don't know if you've done this before, but we are going to color it with our blends. I have my Highland Heather blends out here, and I realized earlier today my dark one is getting a little bit dead. So I'm hoping that it, actually I could probably try the light one too. But when I did my ribbon, it wasn't exactly, there was some shading to it. And at first I thought, oh, no, I don't like that. And then I thought, no, actually I do, because this is all kind of shady. And so the ribbon kind of goes with that theme. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to color my Misty Moonlight. No, not Misty Moonlight. The Misty Moonlight is still in the package. I don't know my colors. The basic white ribbon, and we're just going to color it like this. The longer strokes you do, probably the better off you are, but just go right along there. Make sure that you're on your side of your marker so that you don't ruin your tip, which looks like I really need to replace this one. So we'll go along, and you can fill in. Now, I do need to flip it over because it doesn't soak all the way through. You could do this with a regular marker, but it would take about 6 years to dry. So the alcohol blends, the Stampin' Blends are perfect for this because they are, they're alcohol and they dry much quicker. And if you wanted to make sure that you didn't get it all over everything, you could stick it up to the light and just hold it up there in the heat for a little bit. If you wanted to, or the hair dryer, or you just wait a couple of minutes, it would be totally fine. It almost has a tie-dye look to it. So we're gonna do that. Tape that on the back. Yeah, so it kind of has a, not a mottled look, but kind of a, like I said, a tie-dye look to it. And that tape is almost exactly the width of my sentiment piece here. So I gotta be careful how I put it on. Hold on. I want it a little bit more angled. Okay, now I'm gonna put that on dimensionals. Let me get my dimensionals here. Here they are. I'm gonna put one up here. With that ribbon and that tape, just make sure that you push it down really tight so that it doesn't come loose. I'm gonna put that, actually, let's trim that little furry edge there and the furry edge there. There we go. Thank you, Kathy. All right, I'm gonna put it down here. Now, I was trying to decide what gems to use because I know you're surprised. I don't have any of those colors of gems either. So I brought out my rhinestones because rhinestones sparkle like snowflakes, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing with my rhinestones. I'm gonna color those. I'm gonna do a big one for the middle. I'm gonna put it right in the middle and then we'll do some little ones. Whoop, that one's not attached there. Little ones around the edges. Let's see. So whatever color you choose, you can just color it and you can see that this is the purple one, this is the clear one. You can kind of see the difference there. And again, it dries really, really quick, so you just move on. I'm gonna put the big one. Big one in the middle, like that. And then I might add another couple, but I just wanted to see what I had here. All right, now I don't know if the odd number rule applies. There's 1, 2, 3, but I want to have 3 around it. So I don't know if the odd number counts when it is, like there's 1 as a focal point. I could do another one there, but I don't want it to look all matchy-matchy. So maybe we'll just go with that. Or I could put one on here. That's what I'll do. So let's color one more. One more little one, a little tiny one. There we go. And we will attach that down here by our Joy to the World. All right, now that's the outside. Now I've got my white quarter panel, or 4 by 5 1/4, almost a quarter panel. I'm gonna do the same thing again, except I don't want my mask. Let's see. Well, I'll line my paper up at the same spot. All right. I just want to make sure it doesn't go onto my desk. All right, so I'm going to leave my paper right where I had it before. This time I'm going to put my notch right here. Okay, I'm going to start with the pool party again. Oop, that's this one. We'll just do a light snowflake right here on the inside. I probably should have stamped my words first, because if I mess those up, then I'll have to flip it over and then I'll be really mad. So wish me luck. All right, so that was the pool party. Then we'll do the Coastal Cabana. Is that what I just dropped? No, here it is. I'm gonna move that one. Mask number 2. So my notch goes right there. My paper hasn't moved. Oop, there we go. And we'll darken those little lines a little bit. And it doesn't take that long. You would think that, you know, making a fancy snowflake would take a long time. No, it doesn't. And then we'll do our Highland Heather. Hello, Monica. Okay, then there's the last one. That's our purple. And those hearts fit right along the edge of the snowflake. We'll color those. Sometimes those little holes are a little bit harder to get into. Sometimes you have to dab it a little bit. And there we go. All right, then I have my words ready. So hopefully it's photopolymer. Surely I can do it, right? Sending you joy and many delights. And then we will attach that to the inside and our inside and our outside. Oh, that's the last of that one. Look at me go. We will put that right on the inside of our card. So our partial snowflake there matches our snowflake on the front. So my two samples are pretty much identical. This one I think I rubbed a little harder so you can see that the shading is a little bit different. But there you have it, our Joy to the World Snowflake Delight, Snowy Delights card. And that's our card for today. So tomorrow I will go live at noon. I have an appointment in the morning. I have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon. We have a soccer game. I have all kinds of things tomorrow. So noon is my time tomorrow. I do hope that you can join me, or if you can't watch live, then I hope that you catch the replay. And we are making ornaments tomorrow. So I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching.